Hey there, Scott with HVAC Technician Sales Secrets. Today we got a super important lesson for you. So I want to introduce you to a phrase of people sell how they buy, you sell how you buy, your buying style is your selling style is your buying style. And this operating system that you work within is super important for a couple of reasons. When you have a quick buying style, meaning that you're impulsive, you don't understand the person who is methodical and wants to talk to multiple people and read reviews and search for the best deal. And if you are the person who searches for the best deal and reads reviews, you are not going to understand the person who's impulsive. You're going to celebrate when you make a sale, but you're like, I don't get it. It's not what I would do. Okay. So yes, part of your role, your responsibility is to guide your buyer with the conversation to help them make the proper decision. So if you want more on this, go to hvactechsecrets.com, or up there, there's going to be a link. You can go there and sign up for the weekly email or the daily email, depending upon how I'm doing. And I will share with you stuff that's not on YouTube and stuff that's not in the Facebook group. So you sell how you buy, your buying style is your selling style. You're like, Scott, get to the point. What does this have to do with me? And I'm going to say everything. Now, that I know of, I don't know of any other person who does sales training who's talked about this more than me and investigated it with salespeople. So I think I've got 20 videos on YouTube. I'm going to put another one up in the next couple of days on this, specifically about what do you do in difficult situations. And I want you to really think about this, how this influences your buying style and your selling style. So let's say that you're going to throw a party. Yep, you're going to throw a party and you are going to get a meal from a local restaurant. And so you've got 20 people in your house, you've got 20 people in your office, and you've got this big dinner plan, you've got this big party plan, and you go to the restaurant, you pick up all the goods, they load them for you. They're like, hey, you're all loaded up. You go back to the home, you go back to the office, and you find out that not everything was there. Now the party starts at 7, it is currently 6:55. What do you do? Now, remember, if your buying style is your selling style and your selling style is your buying style, what does that mean for difficult situations? So, did you call the restaurant and say, hey, I'm hoping you can help me. Here's my situation. Do you call the restaurant and yell? Do you call and make demands? And you're like, Scott, gosh dang it. What does that have to do with my sales process? And I'm going to say everything. Everything. Because how you treat people when things go sideways is your ability to deal with difficult situations. Now, one of the things that I've been working with technicians on for a very long time is dealing with difficult clients. Because everybody wants the gravy client where you walk in and you're like, hey, I'm here with XYZ company. It's where I park my vehicle, okay? And they're like, yeah. You go through your process and they're like, yeah, you're right, I want one. Send your guy out or send me one right now. Like, that is the unicorn. That is the one-off buyer when you don't have the proper sales process. When you know what you're doing, it makes it a whole lot easier, okay? So when there's a difficult situation, what's your go-to move? So I'm going to say, hey, funny thing, this happened to me last night. This is why it's the perfect time for an example. Organization that I'm associated with calls a local restaurant here in Sacramento, says, hey, I want to order a meal for 20 people. Person from the office goes and picks up stuff, comes back, trusted the person who loaded up the vehicle, get here to the office, and guess what? There's stuff missing. So, party's about to start in 5 minutes. I said, hey, I'll volunteer. Call, let them know I'm on my way. So, person here at the office makes a phone call to the restaurant. Person calls me back and says, you are going to meet with manager. Manager's going to take care of you. Go to the restaurant, circle the parking lot. It was a Friday night, busy place. Circle the parking lot. I have the ability to be mad, frustrated, angry. They forgot stuff. I'm in a parking lot. I'm circling the parking lot. It's a Friday night. I'm getting anxious. And then I got to go game face. How do I treat this person? Go into the restaurant. Manager's super apologetic. Like you can feel real apologies. She says, hey, Mr. Bell, I'm so sorry. Like this shouldn't have happened. You know, accept my apology, accept everything that's going on, accept we screwed up. And I go, hey, you know what? I appreciate that. We all make mistakes. Thanks for making it right. She went, Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says it. So thank you. Okay? Now, I'm not saying, hey, look, I'm such a great dude. That's not what I'm saying. I'm giving you the example of, like, look, when you need to be gracious, when everybody else is yelling and screaming, gives you the ability that you can see the other side. You can have empathy. You can have conversational ability when somebody else is struggling. So you meet with your client on their worst day. It's 110 degrees outside, their air conditioner is broken. It's 25 degrees outside and their furnace or their heat pump is broken. Right? You're meeting with somebody on their worst day. And so if you can have some grace, if you can have some patience, if you can have some understanding, there's things that you go through in life that you can talk about, but up until you live through them, they're not exactly the same thing. Okay? So this isn't a knock against you if you've never lived through these things, but you can have a deeper level of understanding. You lose a major significant person in your family, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to have happen. You lose a house, you lose a car, you lose a kid. Those are all things that you can have empathy for. So understand that the more weird, the more difficult situations that you live through, and the more understanding that you have for people, the better it impacts your sales process for the good. And the reason I say this is the next time that something goes sideways in your life, I want you to just pause for a second and think, like, if it was me in the shoes of the other person, how would I want to be treated? How would I want that person to be treated? Now, this has direct influence on your sales process. If people sell how they buy and you buy how you sell, you also treat people how you want to be treated in difficult situations. You want to get really good at sales? Get past, I got to get the lay down. Get to, how do I deal with the most difficult person on the planet to help them figure out what their best fit need is? Sometimes the best thing for people is to not sell them anything. And I know that goes contradictory to like what a lot of people say in a lot of industries. Sell, 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 close the deal, close the deal. Sometimes the best thing for somebody, and it's not going to be a huge segment of the population. So like, let's say it's 3 out of 100 calls. So if you're an owner or manager and you're like, Scott, don't tell my guys that. Like, listen, I'm not saying that everybody that you meet with isn't a sell. I'm saying that there's times where you go and you meet with somebody and the best thing for them is a club membership, a partnership plan, or a yearly agreement, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes the best thing when you go out to a call is to replace the part. Sometimes the best thing for a call is to replace the equipment or the ductwork. Right? Sometimes, like, you just got to look at it. It is, like, people will say sales is a game of numbers, right? But if you take a look at your pool of calls that you run, let's say you run 100 calls, and let's say that your role and responsibility is to fix equipment, right? And your role and responsibility is to set leads. 100 calls. Let's say you fix 50 of them. Okay, company makes some money. Let's say that you set 30 leads. Okay, company has the possibility of making money. If you got a good salesperson, they're going to close about 50 to 60% of those. Industry average is about 25%. The other 25 should be on a club membership, partnership plan, or an agreement. So you could go back and have the conversation. And when there's a problem, guess who they call? Know, like, and trust. It's you. So your buying style is your selling style. How you deal with difficult situations in your own life really dictates how well you can deal with difficult situations when you're meeting with a buyer who's having their worst day. Systems failed multiple times. Other techs have been out there. Your company's fallen down. Other companies have fallen down, right? Everybody wants the easy client. What happens when you're like, I'll take the difficult ones? What happens when you call your dispatcher and you're like, hey, I know things are rough for a few people. Put me on the difficult calls. And you will get some skills. I can't teach all the skills that you would get from dealing with difficult clients. I have a process. I have a course. I have word tracks. I have scripts. I have things that you could do, but like there's things that you have to live through. So how you sell and how you buy is directly correlated to how you treat difficult situations in your own personal life. Start paying attention to that. The next time that you go through something difficult, before you talk to the person, the manager, the salesperson, the representative, think like, how would I want to be treated if it was me in this situation? How can I explain things to them in a rational way that's going to make sense? One of my favorite phrases is, how can we make this right? Based upon given the circumstances, everything that we've went through, everything that we've talked about, what do we do to make this right? Where do we go from here? And a lot of times people will say like, here's the best thing that I can do for you. And I tend to get my way in a lot of situations. because I've taken the time to figure out, how do I want to be treated when things are difficult? The question is, how do you want to treat people when things go wrong for you? If you sell how you buy, if you buy how you sell, if your buying style is your selling style, how you treat with difficult situations is how you treat difficult clients. Something to think about. Do this. Go to hvactechsecrets.com. Be like a link up here or up there. Sign up for the email. I promise you, you'll get some goods. We'll see you soon.